All right, so we're working on the Henry Clinton piece with Emily Debler, and we're also working with Devin, and we're also, so we're working on the painting style of these Caucasian men. So the style is going to be pretty similar. This guy does have a little bit of a darker skin tone, but it really shouldn't be that much different. Are you guys both in flats?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'd like for you to do, Devin, is to turn your, oh guys, I have to totally recalibrate because I'm an inch or so off. So let me pause my recording. All right, so we're back. I'm going to open up layers. This is your ED line, right? So it's about like 5% that you have, Emily. And then I'm going to, just going to try to analyze your file a little bit here. It's got line, and then this is flats. Perfect. And then we have something like, this is the darks that we were painting with, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so probably above the line, because this is where all of the painting is going to happen. So we've got darks and then lights. All are going to happen up here. So you can start to, so it's above your line.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to make a new layer that's going to be called face. Because I'm probably just going to paint that face just on one layer right now. But you could end up having the jacket and the sword and everything on that. That's the foreground stuff. That is the character, as long as the background stuff is separate. So with that, then I'm going to, we have all your references here. And Devin, you might want to do this too. I don't know if you have this in your piece, but grab references from the characters plus something from the card set. And then this was your reference that we grabbed from Sheriff County. Can I see one of the cards? We looked at cards from Mission Mars. And I'm going to take the scientist right now and just kind of look at that separately. So kind of hard to see the piece without the light. Should we turn the lights back on in the room?
Maybe.
Hey, Faith, can you turn the lights on? One light thing, so we can see the cards in the room. Okay, so here we go. Face, thank you. Is that one? Is that the dimmest?
Just one.
The other one might be dimmer. Ah, that's better. Okay, so because you have this guy, I'm pretty much going to match that skin tone of this one that Sarah Pewitt did. So I'm going to pick, and that's going to be the darks and face and B for brush, and I'm going to choose the Jason's Nice brush to paint with. And we're going to go to your flats and hit W for the skin. Command H to hide the dancing ants. When you hit Command H and it says hide extras or hide Photoshop, choose extras. So face. I want to lock this flats thing too, so that I don't paint on it. So B for brush. I'm actually going to take this flats and that face, I'm going to darken it so that it is the mid-tone, because this is almost like a highlight tone right now. So Command U on the face and then darken it. Oh, it says all his skin, that's great. And then we're going to hit colorize, darken, saturate. So I'm looking for a mid-tone, and so I'm kind of trying to match this one that's here for his mid-tone. And then, so I'm much closer actually right now. And I don't know what that was.
I have some weird highlights going on that I thought I erased.
That's okay, because it was like part of your erasing, it was part of the method before. So that's probably up in highlights.
Yeah.
So I'll just lasso. Those ones are correct up there. This is the one that's off, so I'll just delete that, okay? And then, so then we're going to go to face. And I am going to, this is the only thing that's highlights right now. No, it's on everything. I'm just going to delete this for now. Or actually Command X, bring this to here, Command Shift V. I'll bring this to the same layer so that I'm working all together with it. Okay, so Command Shift V is paste in place. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and find this dark for the line. So the dark for the differentiator. So you kind of have to bring the line back. So I'm bracketing down. I'm going to kind of come in and do a little bit of differentiating.
I'm gonna bring her back.
Yeah. You also have light that's raking in from the top left, right? So just kind of coming in, I'm going to hit 4 for 40%. You know, just kind of paint over it a couple times until we get that. We really need to get those eyes to not pop out quite as much, so that will be one of our goals. I'm actually going to grab from this dark, see this is actually the color of the eyes.
Yeah.
So B for brush. So just kind of get those to kind of push back. Because I'm at a low opacity, you can still see those darks of the eyes. Okay. This piece I would like to get bigger, so I'm going to hit Auto Select, Layer, Command T. Get this kind of right next to us as we're painting. Okay. And if we wanted, we could get the more accurate file, but we're just picking colors and stuff right now. So I for this tone, B. Back to, I do want to lock the flats because I want to make sure I can keep selecting from it. To the face, B. Bigger. So get some tone. That's really not the tone I'm looking for. I to pick. So I'm going to go and try to make this a little bit more reddish. More reddish. There we go. B. There we go. See how that has more tone to it?
Yeah.
This is the dark side, so we really need this to be the darkest part. This stuff right here, we can actually lasso that. Go to the flat. Option, so hit W for the one. Option, click this. So that now made, so that just grabbed just the neck. Command H to hide the dancing ants. Command U. Oops, I can't do that because it's on there. So I can't hue shift something that doesn't have anything in it, so I do have to paint it. So I'm just going to get something dark. B. So just get some definition there. With this same dark, I'm going to kind of come in and paint some information. Okay, Command D to deselect, because I'm going to take the same dark around this stuff. This is still the dark side of him. I need to get his head again. Command W, grab the head. Command H, hide the dancing ants. B, back up to face. 3 for 30%. That's going to be this dark section right here. That dark all the way through. Good. This dark here. This dark. A little bit of, so I'm bracketing to make it smaller and bigger. A little bit of definition here and here. And you can see the tongue is the next thing that kind of has to get going. So I'm just going to pick up that pink and brush it. It's probably not selected, so I'm just going to deselect at this point. Command D. Get a little bit of information there. Those teeth, go to the flats. W, select them. Command H, hide the dancing ants. B. I want to get this color, so I'm going to start with that color, but click here and take it quite a bit darker and more neutral. And this will be the way to paint his teeth a little bit darker. So B for brush, a little bit bigger, hit 3 for 30% opacity, because that's going to be way too dark, right?
Yeah.
So, but that's our sense of how we're going to go. So if I go scrub it a couple times, I'm getting it darker. This is definitely going to have some shadow right there. We want the kind of buck teeth to kind of be the brightest thing. And a little bit of separation, but not too much. So now Command D, I'm going to pick this tongue area and kind of paint again, get a little bit less definition here. What kind of mouth does he have? When we reference this guy, it's this guy right here, right? It's so hard to see his mouth, huh? What I would like to do is go to this file, and it's one that's not locked and stuff, so I can hit lasso, and grab this and Command C, Command Shift V, V, that's all moving stuff. Command T to make it bigger. Oh my gosh, we really can't see this fella. To me, it looks like he's got like flattish lips, like completely flat,
Yeah.
right? Is that what you're thinking? No form? Okay, so when we think no form in the lips, it becomes kind of interesting. This guy actually has flattish lips too. It really becomes just about, so I'm going to make this bigger, hit 8 for 80%. It becomes about, and that stuff's all too gray, but I'm more looking at tone right now. I'm going to pick I. And then highlight, I'm going to pick from your highlight thing. Yeah. We're getting there. So if they've got flat lips, it becomes more about the whole, which is what you're really already doing, and that's what Sarah did too. At this angle, I do think that we need to get some of the teeth on the inside as well. So B for brush, we're going to run them a little bit back. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. So now we've got an open mouth. Now I'm going to focus on the eyes because that's the next thing that I feel like really needs to get more definition. So I'm going to do that with the darks that I've already got going here. And we've got Andrew Bosley's art that we're looking at. What happened to the card? So I'm looking at the scientist. Let's look at.
Oh my god, that's so funny.
The pilot has eyes covered. Sarah's does a pretty good eye exploration, actually. So I'm going to move this. Oh, look at that. Command Z. So I painted on the wrong layer, right? We're going to grab all that. That's on layer 6, which was the image from the reference image. So layer 6, Command X to cut, and then put that on the face. Command Shift V. There we go. All right. Oh, he's got these fantastic eyebrows. And he's going to have gray hair, is what you're thinking about? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to think about, like, okay, so I'm going to hit these two. I think it pasted that stuff right there, and I want this to be on the same layer, so I'm going to hit Command E. And I'm actually going to start doing some of the hair painting right now, too. So I, to pick that color, B, but I want the color to be darker, so I'm just going to go down a shade, B. And just looking for that form again. Oops. So I'm going to hit 5 for 50%. So we're just looking for the form as we go. So we did this a little bit when we were drawing, where you kind of get these forms. Just going to get them again here. Bracket up. Little swirls. That's his nose, isn't it? That's great. We're going to get that to be really kind of dark against the highlights that you've already got running there. And if we go to the flats and hit W on his gray hair, cool, Command H to hide the dancing ants, I'm going to run this gradient that we've been talking about. So you can run a gradient by not using the gradient tool, by getting a brush that is the big blurry brush. Hey guys, this gradient tool that I've been talking about, can you guys have headphones off for a second, please? Gradients. You don't have to do the gradient tool. Just select from your flats and run paint over top. Okay, that's gradient. Okay, now I'm going to make a switch to the white. Okay, that's gradient really fast. Okay, no gradient tools, just paint big blurry brushes. Okay. I did that on your paint layer, and we've been doing face layer.
Yes.
So, Susan, where's your face layer?
I think it's layer 7 now.
Oh, because I merged it,
Yeah.
right. Double click. Face. Okay. And paint. I'll just take this stuff. I think it's just this stuff. Command X off of paint, and then put that there. Command Shift V. Merge these. Command E, and then rename this face. Okay. Good. All right. So we're getting there. And Sarah's got a lot of white on the top of the hair too. So be not the big blurry brush, but back to Jason's Nice. I wonder if I can see. D for default brushes, X to switch it. Kind of get these like swirls running into it. Zoom out. That's the card size. So you got to keep looking at stuff at that kind of size. So I'm getting a lot closer, but one of the things I see is it's still got whites of his eyes, and it still has, like I need the eyebrow definition. So we're gonna go in and make his eyebrows quite a bit darker. Go to the flats, W, Command H, zoom. I need to get a gray. Face. Really dark. And so people tend to have darker eyebrows than they do their hair, and whoever this is that Sarah made also has that. And just a little bit of, so I'm hitting X back for white, gonna hit 4 for 40% opacity and kind of get that little tone running there. So right now, it's super hard edged, and hair is gonna not feel so hard edged, so I'm gonna deselect Command D. And this is where that smudgy nice is going to come into play. So the smudge tool is right there. And when you go to this with current tools select only, get smudgy nice. Set this smaller with my lower bracket and then hit 4 for 40 strength. And then smudge that. Betcha. Because it's all, let's see. See, I want that hard edge. Because it's not a part of the flats right now, it's not really smudging so well, so at a certain point you end up merging to the flats even. But this is what I want to smudge right now. A little bit of this, and a little bit of this. Okay? And it's just going to start to connect a little bit more. Now I'm going to add more hard edges, like he's got on his nose. So I'm going to click here, B. But that needs to be way more intense. Like pretty much white. So I'm going to hit D and then X, B. Ah, X again. There we go. Get that shine that we get in the bulb then. And a little bit more light here. A little bit more light running here. A little bit more light here, a little bit of light on that cleft. So see now how I'm getting like, form is really starting to come, right? And I need reflective light coming off here. And I want that flat again because I don't want to get outside of his, I'm hitting Shift to get his hair and whatever else that stuff is. Lasso, Shift, eyes. Okay, now I've got all his dancing ants are going around the right thing. So Command H. So I want this to feel formed. So I'm going to grab this color and hit B up in the face section and dark, dark. but it needs to be much brighter color, sort of like what that color is. The lasso down. Okay, now I'm going to give them a little bit of like lipstick color. So even though that men typically don't wear the lipstick, you want to get them to feel like they're more alive. So I picked like something that I would wear as my lipstick and just kind of like pop that in there. And then also for blush, right, he's angry, he's like at war, so he's running as opposed to this other reference that's not. So just getting some of that color into it. Okay. The difference that I'm seeing here on the left and on the right is we need a lot of definition on that nose. That nose is tricky because that's something that I don't usually paint. Like the way that is super stylized, so I kind of have to think about that a second. So, oh man, we have to go like really dark because that is against the edge of the shadow. I'm just going to kind of draw it right now because I've got to figure it out. Okay. So you can kind of use drawing methods over top to kind of determine where things are. So I'm using a smaller brush to kind of determine it, like kind of drawing over the painting. And we need this kind of form here and here. So I get these eyebrows going. Those eyes to set in. Okay. All right. Now comes a smudge brush because that's drawing. I need to make it look like painting. So I go to smudge, go to smudgy nice. It comes at 50% strength, so I'm going to hit 2 just to really take it down a notch. Smudge, 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 smudge. So see how it's starting to look more like the paint?
Yeah.
But I got that because I was kind of using my figure drawing techniques. Oh boy, he's got a big nose. That's his deal, huh? Mm-hmm. So we're going to kind of push this idea and give him another little highlight here and maybe another highlight right along this edge. There we go. So that nose is starting to stick out more. That's cool. Bracket up for more cheek definition too. And then a little bit of highlight right here. Bring that highlight through and through and through. And then this is that secondary highlight that you get when you're bald from the light coming from another place. Pick this color because I want a little bit too dark with that bracket up. 2 for 20% opacity. Just take it down a notch. Take this down a notch. Take that down a notch. And we're getting there. Smudge. Like I'm almost there except for I gotta get this eyes better now. So smudge the nose. Ooh, that was too much. So you can see how that was still 50%.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually 20. Command Z. So I'm going to take it down to 1% or 10%. Still too much. So I'm going to go up here, and to go any lower than 10 or 20 or something like that, you have to push it. So in addition to like this kind of color, I want to actually get a little bit of tone. That's that pink color that I'm just going to paint in there. Now I need those nostrils, like inside of his mouth right here. So B for brush. Almost. Am I at 20%? Yeah, hit 9 for 90%. Oops. Get those nostrils in there. The thing that's missing now is a drop shadow. We've got this drop shadow here, but we need it underneath his nose too because it's so massive. It's like a continent. So we're going to do 3 for 30% and drop this shadow right here. So we want it to be a hard edge right along that and also on his teeth, right? Because it's going to cover up. So that's getting pretty good.
Yeah.
Next, we have to figure out what color eyes he had. Don't shoot them until you see the whites of their eyes. What's his name? Henry Clinton?
Yeah.
What was his heritage? German or give him green eyes, blue eyes? We'll just make a choice and we can we can look for it later. But so they're too black right now, so I'm just gonna go and grab a. I'm gonna use blue because if you think about our colorblind rule, go view. We'll check this out. All this red is gonna go to gray. So view proof setup. You think it's green? Okay, check this out. Dirtinopia. This is what it's going to look like to the colorblind. So if you do blue, though, it's going to really stand out. And if the yellow is, yeah, so that's going to be pretty cool. So right now, if I just pop this blue on, you'll see that that blue actually functions as like a color that stands out.
Yeah.
So window or view proof setup, back to monitor RGB. Okay, so you got them kind of scared with the whites on the top showing, huh? Is that, like, because we could give him the blues going more up to the tops of the other parts. I'm going to try that as I paint them. We should pull up the Joseph Brandt card, too, as a reference. So I'm going to go to the home page of our site. And those are cards. They're the first thing, aren't they? Oh, I saw them. So do you see how his eyes have that dark on the top? That's what we want to do with yours too. It goes away, so I'm going to push this here, push this here, make this as big as I can. Okay. B. Base. Pick from this color and just kind of push his eyes up into this part. 9 for 90% opacity. It's going to start to make them a little bit cartoony, so we're going to want to pull some of that whites back down over top of them. That's, what do you think of that, Emily?
That looks better.
Yeah. So then after you get that, then you hit D for default, get the black back in there, and then paint Command Z. That needs to be like 80% opacity. Okay. I'm going to hit 4 for 40% and kind of just use black right now to paint some things to get some tone really in here. So this again, I'm like drawing again. I went back to my drawing roots, and I'm going to smudge this again. Oops, move the brush bracket smaller. And give him a little bit of an old look. He needs more lip again. More tone, but darker eye to pick this color B. A little bit more color right here. Smudge. So drawing takes me to smudging. So smudge tool that comes in at 50% usually. What is it? It's still at 6. Oh, I want it at 3 for 30%. Smudge that out. Maybe more like 4 for 40%. Smudge, smudge. I just want to kind of take the drawingness out of that. But I do like how that eyes are kind of like that. And so remember how we have to zoom out? So he's really getting like the style of our benchmark. But he's kind of gray right now around his mouth. So, and that's because I did a lot of black painting. It might be better to always paint with brown. So what I'll do is, let's see, how can I fix that? Where's my layers at? There they are. We can go and go image adjustments and go to, because you can do replace color or selective color. I'm trying to find selective color again. There it is. So we can tell the blacks to go to more reds. See? I'll take the blacks out of it. See how it gets to get a color? More yellow. It's just really wanting it to get brown more and less cyan. There we go. See how it turned brown? But I still want it to be somewhat black, so that's more appropriate. So this is before and after. I like what it did with his hair too. So, yeah, we're getting there. Again, let's get a little highlight going on his face. So I'm kind of overall working his whole face. This is like, he's got really nice chapstick lips right there. This would pick up all this red color because it's underneath, right? So that's that reflective light. I'm going to actually use this color, B. Command Z. Going to just go and get a red and paint with it. B at, let's see, like 3 for 30%, just to get more red in there. He needs reflective color right here too, and right here. That's going to give him a nice form. Right here, a little bit more darkness. Paint with some red there. Paint red here, red right there, red right here, because he's got all that tone on him. Now we're going to do that color, so that colored light. Where are you putting it? You're going to have like blue light on one and yellow on the other?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So remember how like this card has...
Yeah.
So let's zoom out on your card. Which way are the wigs coming from?
Like this way they're coming out.
So coming in the direction from this way. Okay,
Yeah.
so then that's where our blue light comes. And you can see here on Joseph Brandt, he's got pretty intense blue light. So we'll do it. I'm not going to worry that that's kind of got that no printer, because it's going to be, that triangle meant that you can't print that color, but it's going to be in the painting. And it's going to not be full on. So here we go. I'm going to Command Z all of that, because I think that you want to have that be on anyway. Blue highlight. Blue highlight, huh? Said. Bigger. And also Command Z multiple times. I'm at a low opacity, like 30. I want to go to 60% opacity. Look at that colored light. Oops. That light would also bounce here and here. So coming in his direction, and it's gonna like come here on his eyes, here on his teeth, here on his face. And we're gonna get red from the other side. Is that what we're doing? So I'm gonna grab an intense red. Which is actually magenta. I just need it to really stand out. Ooh, that's too much. That matches my fingernails today. Yeah. And a little bit on his nose, because it's like the thing that stands out so much. Command Z. Command Z again. 3 for 30% opacity. Getting there. He still needs a little bit more darkness. I know there's still some more stuff, but are you getting an idea of what to do?
Yeah.
So the highlights really pushes it to the next level. So starting with flats, I was working with like selecting flats, right? And then just using the two things, the Jason's Nice brush. Sometimes I'm actually drawing into it, and then I'll smudgy nose it. If I look at him compared to Sarah's card for Joseph Brandt, it's still missing like a big highlight area on his head, which I think that he would have too since he's a bald man. So I would grab this light and hit B and then go back down to the face and really, well, I'm on a very low opacity. Do I have a selection or something? Command D. Am I smudging? I'm going to go to 90% opacity. I just want a real good brush mark here. You see how Sarah's got pretty much a big brush mark there?
Yeah.
Maybe I just need it to be brighter, so white brush mark. That's pretty intense, so 8 for 80% opacity. There we go. And then also right here, I just made it bigger. Didn't push as much right here. And let's give his nose just ever so much highlight. Oops, zoom. It needs it on this other side. B. And I really want these lips to pick up his tone too. So I think that that's too bright. So we're going to get that same color, but go much darker. Smudge. 40, need to go to 20. Smudge. Smudge. Use some of that. Drawing this. But you see right here, that is that texture that we want to get. Andrew Bosley's got it in his stuff too.
Yeah.
Smudge. 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 He would have a drop shadow on his eye. So this part right here, B for brush, drop shadow. Even so the dark of his eye too, I'm just pretty much gonna let that kind of carry through. Yeah, I think I'm feeling confident with that, and then I would move on to other stuff.